Hey, everybody. By the time of this recording, it is Tuesday, December 26th. And I was going to just stay asleep for a good while um, and rest and relax throughout this thing. I mean, haven't even taken the time to shave or get on the treadmill or nothing. I've been relaxing this entire holidays. But while I was doing that, I was going through the YouTube channels, and I found this person called JLR Investigates, and it's basically this guy that's walking around the border towns and stuff, and talking mass migration crisis and invasion and sketchy business going on with the government and the law enforcement and all this other garbage. And I kept looking at it and just kept laughing because of the simple fact that it was just hilarious, starting with invasion. Those of you who have been on my show, those of you who have seen my show, you know full well. Those of you who have read my articles, you know full well there is no invasion down here. Okay? An invasion means an army has come and tried to destroy America, or here in Texas, tried to destroy Texas. This guy is in Eagle Pass right now, which is Texas. He's in Eagle Pass right now saying that there's a big invasion and all this garbage. He just did a live show where the facilities are, where the big tent facilities are over in Eagle Pass. And he's noticing that the fence line that surrounds the tent facilities is also going along down this long road surrounding abandoned houses. Okay, and this is what got me so peppy. This is what woke me up to come back onto the screen. You know, he's saying that there's an invasion, but there's really not. Especially when you got everything fenced in, okay, as opposed to broken down or torn down or blown up, or thrashed. You don't got anything like that. His own videos prove that. He's insinuating invasion. He's insinuating chaos and mayhem and a big crisis and all that. All of this is not just this one guy. This one guy just caught my attention a lot because of the simple fact that everything is insinuated. He's going, what's going on here? This is sketchy. What's going on? What's with that? And what's with this? And look at those buses with migrants. Where are they going? And who's in charge here? When we all know who's in charge. It ain't Biden. No. This is all my worthless Governor Greg Abbott's doing. Okay? And the holding facilities, that would be the government's doing. That would be Biden. What's got my fingers crossed is all those abandoned houses is also the government's doing, as opposed to my worthless governor. And the reason why I say this is because those of you that have been reading my articles and watching when I come out on YouTube, even as far back when I had the audio only podcast on Anchor, okay, one of the branch offs of Spotify, okay, when it was just audio only, there was a time where I was saying, we've got 300 counties in Texas, and a lot of them have at least one town that's abandoned. Now, if you can encircle or fence in a community-sized town that you could throw in hundreds of thousands of migrants, in a facility area like that, in a town, a small abandoned town that America doesn't even want anymore. We don't want them. That's why they're abandoned. Nobody wants to live there anymore. That's why it's abandoned. Okay? And that's what really got the fire lit up again, watching this JLR Investigates guy doing a walkthrough, walking past these abandoned buildings and houses, and still sticking to his theme. What's going on? It's sketchy. What's happening? This is so weird and all this stuff. Actually, it's very hopeful, especially for and those of you that watch my show, you know what I'm talking about. Common Sense on Common Ground says, finally, some organization, whether it be a volunteer organization or a governmental organization or a state run, even though technically I seriously doubt my governor is doing a state organization. I seriously doubt that my governor is doing anything like this. Encapsulating an abandoned town that Texas doesn't want, America doesn't want, and using that as an establishment to housing or facilitating rather the migrants. And I say more facility because, all the critics are saying, oh, we're giving away houses. Not really. Not when you've got early 1900s houses where they were still building stuff with asbestos, and they were all, the floors were on these posts, and the electric current ran bare wire from one little stopper to the next. Not a stopper. They weren't even dampeners. They were just rerouter discs that you screwed up into the floor. And there was bare copper going through those things. And I guess it was just to keep the either slow down the buildup or of to a surge, or it was because there was copper for every single house back in those days, and it was a set amount of copper. Hence the reason, well, instead of chopping it down and throwing it to the metal recycler, something that wasn't existent back in the early 1900s, we just go ahead and squinch them in underneath the floor with these little rerouter things. And that would make, of course it makes sense. That's what they used to do back then. But to say that, oh, this is an estate for the migrants and all that, that's just a bunch of BS. It's about as BS as the invasion statements, okay? Because remember, an invasion takes an army. An invasion takes people being attacked, okay? You don't got any cattle slaughtered, There are no farms being burnt or stripped of their crops, There's none of that's going on. No barns are being burned down. There's not even reports of a dead dog. Okay? So there's no invasion going on. And every crisis that they say, they're being overwhelmed. This guy, this amateur YouTuber, all the way up to, CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, all of them are showing videos of migrants in line with those heater things, the things that make them look like, potatoes ready to be baked. Those sheets and covers, thermal blankets, I think they're called. They're all waiting in line patiently to be sent to a location, in order to get the process done. That's not a crisis. That's the organization that was needed from as far back as 2015, when it was just El Salvadorians hopping on trains coming into California, mostly California. But nevertheless, that type of organization was needed. Okay? As far back as the Obama administration. That was the organization that was needed. It was the organization that was needed back when COVID-infected migrants were quarantined. That was the organization. It's still needed. Okay? It was needed when not so much kids separated from their parents, but men that could be pushers were separated with mothers and their kids and thoroughly background checked. Men on one side, women on the other, women and children on the other, because all of that stuff also led to many arrests. Here in San Diego, this just gives me bragging rights, and I'm hoping that I get more bragging rights. As it is, I've stated throughout the past couple of years, you scroll down these episodes where I'm talking about the migrants, and almost every single one of them, I'm going to bring up the fact that here in San Antonio, we had traffickers trying to bully our volunteer facilitators and saying, hey, they paid money to cross the border and now I need to collect. So give me that migrant. Give me those kids. Okay. They tried getting away with that and they wound up getting arrested. Okay, now that's not just here in Texas. It did happen here in San Antonio, which of course, we took care of that shit. We gave them the back of our hand. You know, San Antonio held it together, like we always do, even when we've got nothing to hold everything together with. We just do it better, because that's what we're used to. We're used to zero help from anybody. It does help when we get it, but we're used to everybody turning their backs to us. Why? Because we're San Antonio, because we're just Saytown, because we're just Alamo City. Okay. What they don't know out there is that's what makes us Alamo City. Not having all of y'all turn your backs to us so you don't see us giving the middle finger at you when we're not fazed by it. So yeah, it's got my fingers crossed for Eagle Pass, man, because this is something that I've been saying for a small while now. Facilitate old abandoned towns that not only Texas doesn't want, but America doesn't even want. We've got so much land that is being sold for communities and stuff, and they're charging them no less than $300,000 per house. Okay. And any old house here that's already in existence, like those 1950s 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and if you're lucky, there's a carport, they're being sold for $180,000. Okay? It's unheard of to us normal San Antonians. Well, to us San Antonians that were born and raised here, it's whacked out of their skulls. But there's a bunch of people coming down here from different parts of the U.S. and different countries now, that are buying them. They're buying them like it's nothing. They see $180,000 for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath on 1,200 square feet, and they think it's a mansion, because they come from London, where they're living in these townhouses side by side, because they come from Mexico, where they're, or Brazil, or someplace where they're living in shanties. So they're paying top dollar, for these worthless houses. Well, they're not worthless. They're just not worth $180,000. Not a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and if you're lucky, a carport house. Okay? No. Not by a long shot. But they don't know that. And so you've got these old abandoned houses, you've got these old houses that people are paying top dollar for here in Texas, here in San Antonio, and other cities. I mean, it's not just here. And again, you go to Eagle Pass, where you've got communities of abandoned houses that nobody ever wanted. Now they're starting to take value? No. Screw that. To hell with that. Those houses, more than likely have that same 1-bathroom, yeah, but they've got early 1900 electrical, Their plumbing is more than likely shot, which means that those houses need to be renovated, okay, and restructured, maybe even, which is good. Because if the government is going as far, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, this is what I'm talking about. If the government is going as far as holding down an entire community, well, you need guards for that. Those are security jobs, okay? You'll need law enforcement for that. You'll need medical, mostly medical, because most of these abandoned towns here in Texas have got a lot of bugs, germs, remember, some of those houses were made with asbestos, so there's some kind of toxins, and that's not including stuff like the poisonous spiders, the brown recluse, the black widows. We've got tons of them down here. We have poisonous snakes down here. We've got a lot of variety of bugs in the mosquito area. Okay, so, and we've also got tons of fire ants. Okay, fire ants are the worst ants. They're tiny, they're painful when they bite, they burn, their bites burn, and they can be pretty bad. We've got scorpions down here. And again, we've got both non-poison and poisoned scorpions, non-poison and poison spiders, non-poisoned and poison snakes. And in those abandoned towns, more than likely, there's also hog migration. Hogs are very dangerous. 2 people die every year from a hog attack. A lady that was trying to get her groceries inside her house got attacked. A young child got attacked by 4. So needless to say, it was bad. It was a bad attack. Okay, and that's just here in 2023. You know, you get some like that every year. You'll get 2 at least from hogs. So you know that they need to be protected from wild hogs, which is also great for the hunting industry, because the more pigs you kill, you know, the more of those wild hogs you kill, the more those migrants can, you know, you can feed them with wild hog, you know, which leads to vegetables. Gardens can be grown there. You need water for gardens. Aquaponic systems can be made. It's not exactly tapping into the aquifers. However, you know, so which means all the migrants are going to have to be on limited water per day, which is fine. As we see in van lifers and guys that turn a school bus into a camper, they're on limited water every day also. So to think that migrants can't figure that out, you know, and pace themselves and all this good stuff, that's just kind of silly to think that they're not capable of doing that. You know, especially with aquaponic systems where you're not even relying on Texas waters, you know, you're going to be stuck with limited water, plain and simple. It'll produce more, but it's still going to be limited nevertheless. Okay. All that needs to be done with American workers, American businesses that construct that: plumbing, electrical, you know, extermination, exterminator for the pests, the rats, the rodents, fleas, as well as those spiders, scorpions, and snakes that I was talking about earlier. All of that could be good invested work. And to top it all off, like here in San Antonio, it could be borrowed against. You know, we're doing stuff we're taking federal income, we're taking federal checks, sure, but we're also getting they're also getting business deals here in the city with business owners. Like during the pandemic, a Holiday Inn in the downtown area, it was one of the taller ones, and capable of holding quite a few people that wound up homeless. You know, the city rented out the entire hotel. You know, the city can borrow against itself to rent out or renovate, in this case, you know, buildings. Okay. The same thing can be said about Eagle Pass and Maverick County, because he was over there also. Right now, Eagle Pass and Maverick County and Kinney County and Kennedy County, they're still doing this. Give me money, Greg Abbott. Abbott, give me some funds. Abbott. And Greg Abbott, my worthless governor douchebag, who could have invested already, and we'd already be reaping the rewards of vetting all of these migrants, you know, after making American jobs and producing more, as we're now up to 2 million migrants after all this time. You know, this worthless douchebag of a governor of mine filed lawsuits against Biden saying, well, he's not doing his job. He brought in up to $6 billion within a 2-year time span. Okay? Not a single facility built up by Texas. Not a single single extra American job in producing facilities and in the correct way and making migrants to be go through the process and all this stuff, to where now, coming up to 2024, we could already be having tax-paying citizens vetted in. Even if they don't stay here, I mean, it'll be a contribution to America. But nevertheless, if we kept them here, let's say we kept them here and have them getting jobs, they could be paying taxes right back to us. Technically, we don't need them because we're Texas, but it's still a big way of producing more profit, more business, better economic, healthier economy, as well as a global societal relations. And I don't know the correct words for that, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm posting this in a I told you so manner, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for more bragging rights, okay? Because if that is what's going on, that neighborhood an old town that's abandoned is being renovated, dude. If it's being re-gutted, re-infrastructured, then you're going to get a bigger I told you so from me. Okay? Right now, I'm just going to keep cool and enjoy the rest of my holidays. It's just a couple of more days till New Year's and all that, and then we go back to the ordinary year. So until that time, I'm just going to keep cool. I want all of y'all to keep cool, but keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Watch what these people are doing, because there's a lot of people out there that are profiting, getting a lot of clicks and likes and subscribes and all that by doing the spooky, scary tactic of saying it's an invasion, it's a crisis, this is weird, what's going on, corruption. Okay, and they're all pointing their fingers at which way it goes and all this other crap. But I'm asking my followers and my friends, take a step back and just watch what's going on. Okay, and don't be surprised if it turns out that it's coming to be what I think it is. Don't be surprised if I start beating my chest. Okay, because I'm gonna be claiming huge bragging rights if I'm right about what I've been seeing through the eyes of these haters that are recording sketchy occupations. All right. I am taking up a lot of time, and I'm taking up a lot of stuff. I'm supposed to be vacuuming out my van, getting ready for work tomorrow. So tomorrow or next week, one of the two. I can't remember, whichever. I'm in no hurry. Whoops. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Stay safe out there. My last article was No Civil War, and I think I posted it on Facebook also. There is going to be no Civil War too. Go through my WordPress or Tribal. I think it's WordPress that I wrote the article on. But if not, scroll through YouTube. I'm almost positive. I whenever I write an article, I usually go right to YouTube and start reading it like the report. Like a report. It just helps. It just helps to do these broadcasts easier. Alrighty, y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.